Hello everybody, I'm back! It's Nick, and of course, as always, it's Marty.
Why was I kind of the lesser of those two things there?
Because it's an event that I have returned.
Dick.
Thanks. Today on the podcast, we are... Webcast, I'm sorry. I'm inexperienced, been away for 2 weeks. We have Nintendo distributing NX dev kits. We have Nintendo being kind of dickish about their whole operation. WiiU emulators. The fact that Battlefront is... Basically, the internet went nuts for it. And... Well, a bunch of Steam stuff. You know, we'll get into that later. How are you today, Marcy? What's going on with your newborn?
My now 3-month-old child is teething, and as such, I want to kill myself. So that's going well.
That sounds just lovely.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating. She just cries, and she's now learned a new type of cry, which sounds like a strangled cat. So that's going well.
I know what that sounds like when my cats attack each other. So
I can buy cats.
Cats, babies, I guess they're the same, really, aren't they?
No.
I hand-reared 2 cats.
I hand-reared 1 child. Will have done.
I think we're about equal.
That is not even. 2 cats does not equal 1 child. I know I'm saying this on the internet, and that's a controversial thing to do, but 2 cats do not equal 1 child.
The internet, that's basically the whole of cat fan base.
It is their market, definitely.
Anyway, I think that we're getting off topic here. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Yeah, okay, so Nintendo, their next console is currently codenamed the NX in the same way that the GameCube was the Dolphin and everything else. And they, talk is that the dev kits have gone out to developers, and it's going to be coming out as early as next year. The current reports are stating.
See, that's a bit weird because Wii U didn't actually come out too long ago.
I know it's a bit disappointing. As somebody that owns a Wii U and absolutely adores his Wii U, that's a little bit disappointing.
But the Wii U did kind of flop in comparison to the Wii. I mean, the Wii U did alright, but, you know, the Wii, the original one, went kind of mental in its popularity. And the Wii U, you know, it couldn't really compare to that, not really, so...
No, absolutely, and you've got to look at it in terms of last year is the first time that Nintendo operated at a loss for about 20 years, which is crazy. But Nintendo could operate at a loss for, I think it's something daft like 50 years without an issue, because they have that much money.
Nintendo have all the money. Everybody's seen the meme with, it runs money, bitch!
Yeah, pretty much. And they're kind of hoping for another console to do that. The 3DS now has started to flatline a little bit. So, yeah, they're looking at a new console.
This console, because obviously the PS4 and the Xbone, they're 8th generation consoles.
Mm-hmm.
But the Wii U came out before them, and that was technically the first 8th gen console. The NX is technically going to be the first 9th gen console, then.
It could be argued. I mean, the talk is that this console is going to be
8.5?
a little bit more powerful than the PS4 and the Xbox One. So I'd say it's more likely to be on par with them.
Fair enough. So this is the real 8th gen console from Nintendo, whereas you could kind of say the Wii was a 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But at the end of the day, this whole console generation thing is kind of getting a bit dicey at this point. Because I don't think consoles are going to be around for much longer as we perceive them. Because, you've got so many things coming out, like the Steam boxes, which we're going to talk about later in the show. And you've also got the Nvidia Shield console, which is basically what I'm saying is computers, high-end gaming PCs, are making their way into the living room and kind of making the normal consoles, the old school consoles, endangered in a way.
You see, I kind of argue about it, but from the other perspective. For the longest time, the benefit of having a console is that you just chucked in a game and you played the game. Whereas with the PC, you had to download everything. You had to do this, that, and the other, and muck about with it.
But that's the thing. Consoles are getting much more download oriented.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. You totally stole it.
Okay, so we're on the same page at least.
Yeah. I'd just argue that the consoles now are becoming less convenient than they once were.
Well, that was the
and
thing.
PC, with the advent of something like Steam, is starting to become more convenient than it once was.
You could relate that to kind of piracy in a way, because to my knowledge, and from what I see going about my daily life, piracy of like films and music and stuff is less prevalent now than it was, say, 5-10 years ago, because of the convenience of Netflix and Spotify and platforms like that. And you could acquaint consoles with the same thing. They are not as convenient anymore because you've got another option. If you give people another option, then they'll probably go for that.
Yeah. If you can make something that's convenient for the customer, then it'll be less likely to pirate, as you were saying earlier. Definitely. As somebody that has
being a console
previously...
gamer is basically being a pirate.
yeah. I mean, as somebody that has previously been known to download the odd song. In ways that may have been less than legal. I'm now more than happy to pay a monthly fee to use Google Music, which is my own preferred method, and to pay for Netflix and other bits like that. I'm quite happy to do that because it's easy, it's simple, it's cheap, and it has everything that I want it to have. I mean, where's the negative there for anybody?
It is always a case of convenience over money, really. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people argue against that because they're like, oh no, it's cheap. But at the end of the day, if a more expensive thing is way more convenient than a really cheap thing, they'll say like, well, yeah, I think I'll do that one because at the end of the time, it's saving me time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and
time
that
is more valuable than money.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the NX platform though, I think it's just wonderful that they've called it the NX platform, seeing as it's technically still a prototype. Any Star Trek fans will get that.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
You definitely don't. You suck then. Okay, what it is. In Star Trek lore, prototype classes of ship.
Yeah.
The first prototype ship is called NX rather than NCC. Like, you had the Enterprise NCC 1701.
Yeah.
And then you had like prototype ships, two of the most prevalent being the NX Defiant and the NX Prometheus, the first of their class as prototypes. So you get what I'm saying here.
Yep. Yeah, it was really good.
Yes, I took it now. I took it to Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, to be fair, personally, in comparison to the previous prototype names, I think it's a bit naff. You look at things like Project Dolphin, Project Reality being one of my favourites. NX just sounds a bit crappy alongside them.
Well, you're just a dream destroyer, aren't you?
Don't you think?
Yes. It's less imaginative, I'll give it that.
Okay. And also, the other interesting thing is that they're stating that this new console will have some form of mobile unit attached to it, which itself can be used as a portable console.
Basically, like they tried to say with the WiiU.
Well, but more mobile.
Yeah, kind of like building on the WiiU brick thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't quite know how it'll work. Whether it'll just be that the console itself will become a download station. The thing that you'll be holding will essentially just be an Android tablet. You'll be able to then take these things on the go. I'm not sold on it personally.
The Wii U controller, you could like somebody else. If you had a console on, you could keep playing it on the pad. Somebody else could like watch TV or something. I imagine the mobile unit. You just download the game to that unit, then you can take it out or something. I don't know. We're going to have to wait for more information about it, really. But
yeah, if they do go down that route, they'll really have to prove it to me, because I am not sold that is the way to go. That just screams to me that we're going to have one expensive console.
I definitely think it's just the Wii U wasn't the entire next-gen package that people were looking for, and now they're trying to go that extra mile to kind of make up for it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fair enough, but when you consider that, I don't know, the home consoles at the moment are what, £350?
Yeah.
Then add on this additional tech that's going to be in this mobile console.
Well,
so
yeah.
that adds on an extra £100. You're talking almost £500 for a console.
So it's not included?
Well, no, I'm suggesting that will be included, and that the whole console is going to be
yeah.
costing altogether more like £500.
In a way, it's kind of just like the PS4 and the PS Vita.
Yeah.
And you've got the extra cost for that. But as we know, I know we love our Vitas, but overall they didn't go down that well.
No, it didn't quite set the world alight as some hoped it would. But
and I'm afraid Nintendo might be looking at a kind of similar circumstance there.
Oh, I don't know. Nintendo understand how handhelds and have an absolute monopoly on the market, really, outside of mobile phones.
But that's because they've went down their own route.
Mm-hmm.
They did their own thing with the I've forgotten the name. Oh my god.
3DS.
Yes, the DS. Whereas this new mobile platform with the NX is basically just copying Sony. Kind of like Sony and Microsoft copied Nintendo with their Move and Kinect.
Yeah. Ugh. Less said about that, the better, I think.
Yeah, definitely less said about the Move, the better.
The Move was good. Kinect was crap.
No, I think Kinect was probably the better out of the two because, yeah, for gaming it was but for other implementations, like, it opened doors for people who wanted to do home mocap. You know, if you could hack the device,
massive
then
market of people that had an Xbox 360 and wanted to do mocap.
Yep, you could make hacks for it, and you could plug it into a computer. Basically, what I was saying is it was quite versatile. I'm not defending it. I didn't personally like the Kinect. I'm just saying it was a better idea than the Move.
Oh no, the Move. Did you ever get a chance to play on a Move? Kind of genuinely.
I actually didn't, but I imagine it was just the same as a Wii controller.
I mean, it was effectively a Wii controller, but it was so much more accurate. It felt fantastic to use. Whereas with the Wii, you kind of played tennis by chucking the controller at somebody.
Nintendo had to release a bunch of peripherals to improve the accuracy, didn't they?
They did have the Wii Motion Plus eventually, which was alright. But with the PlayStation Move, they had a table tennis game, and it was fantastic. It was like playing table tennis. It was that accurate.
Fair enough. I think I'll have to just take your word for that, because we've been banging on about this for way too long at this point.
We have gone a bit OTT, haven't we? Let's have a look at Nvidia next.
Nvidia! I liked Nvidia. Not so sure anymore. Please don't die, my computer. I've got a fucking 970 in here.
Yep, not the best. So Nvidia now, they have these things called game-ready drivers. Effectively, if you want to play a game and for it to be any good on your computer, you'll use an Nvidia game-ready driver if you've got an Nvidia card. What they're going to do is they're going to lock that behind the GeForce experience. So in other words, if you have an Nvidia card and you don't want to sign up to Nvidia's crap fest, then you're just going to have a substandard experience with your games.
I get the impression PC gaming is starting to go the way of console gaming. It's weird. It's like all change. It's like a big swap going on. Yep. Consoles are trying to be more like PC, And then, Nvidia goes and does something like this, which makes them much more like a console. That's basically doing like proprietary stuff. I can't say the word.
Proprietary.
Yeah, that's the word. I mean, I know there's always been this thing about, oh yeah, some games are better optimized for Nvidia and some games are better optimized for AMD, but it's never been a massive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now this seems like they're making it a massive thing. I mean, especially with the fact that, like I said, the Nvidia Shield, the tablet this time has the game streaming on it, but you need the GeForce experience to do it. You need an Nvidia card to do that.
Yeah.
And that seems like kind of stupid because if you've got an AMD card in your computer and you've got an AMD computer, and then you've gone and bought the Shield, that's kind of like saying, well, yeah, you have bought the Shield, you've paid the money for that. You should be allowed to do game streaming because you own the game, you own the tablet. But Nvidia is basically saying, no, you need to own our graphics card as well, and I don't like that.
Yeah, it's for me going the way of somebody like Apple. You need to now stay within their walled garden. You need to stay within their happy little ecosystem. And if you do, everything will work really well together. Everything will be lovely, but it gives you absolutely zero choice, which isn't in a customer's favour ever.
No, I mean, some people do like to mix their tech. That's what I've always hated about Apple. The fact that if you've got an iPhone, you need to use everything Apple. If you've got a Mac, you need to use everything Apple. And this seems like a very similar kind of thing. And I feel kind of dirty thinking that I've got something comparable to an Apple device in my computer. Sorry for all the Apple people out there, but I know there's this diachronism between Apple users and everybody else, and I apologise for that, but it's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my brother-in-law Carl, who's been on the show the last couple of weeks, he absolutely loves Microsoft. He loves his Xbox and everything else. So because he loves his Xbox, he's now started to purchase everything Microsoft. He's bought himself a Windows phone, he's got himself a Windows tablet, and and everything plays nicely together. He has additional things because everything plays nicely together. Whereas you look at somebody like myself, I have a Windows 8 tablet, I have a Android phone, I have a PlayStation 4 and a Vita, I have an AMD computer. Just everything is some mongrel race. But, and I don't get those additionals that you get. I kind of have to work out different ways around things so that I can get those nice features. For example, I use my Windows 8 tablet to use Steam in-home streaming so that I can play my computer games on my TV downstairs.
See, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of this weird way of looking at things to find your own way around stuff. And I enjoy that. I get a kick out of that. But it does mean that I don't get some of the nice aspects that other people get. For example, if I'd got an Xbox One sitting underneath my TV downstairs, I'd be able to play Xbox One games on my computer because I've got a Windows 10 computer. It swings and roundabouts. It's not always the best, but it does mean that I get my choice and I get to make my choice.
They're just kind of trying to make clicks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, oh yes, be part of this group, and
PC
we'll give
Master
you
Race.
this. Shut up! The PC has always been about you can do whatever you want. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
You want to stick this in your PC? Yeah, go ahead. You want to put this on your PC? Go ahead. But now Nvidia's making it so that's harder. And that's the entire point of it. The PC has been a system that you can just do anything you want with for the longest time. I mean, the whole thing about Microsoft is, well, Apple. If you're an Apple person, you're all the way an Apple person, it seems. But if you're a Microsoft person, then, well, if you're a PC person and you've got like Windows or something, you like Microsoft in that respect, you don't necessarily have to like the Xbox. I hate the Xbox. I don't like it, and that's okay.
That's a bit strong. You hate the Xbox.
No, I don't hate the Xbox. I love the controller. The controller's really good, but I don't think it's the best of systems. But my point is, I don't have to love everything about Microsoft.
Yep.
And that's okay.
It is okay, Nick. I promise.
I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
So let's go back to Nintendo, if that's all right.
Oh, God.
Well, kind of going back to Nintendo. People may not know this. I'm a Nintendo fan. Sorry.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Shut up, you douche. One of the weirder things to come out this week, though, is the fact that there's now a WiiU emulator, a working, should I say, WiiU emulator, and it's been publicly released this week. Now, I should stress there's no audio on it. The controller doesn't quite work, but it does work. It does play things, not well, but it does play things.
That's surprising.
Which bit?
The fact that there's an emulator at all. I mean, you don't normally see emulators come out until down the road, because emulators are less of like a pirate platform and more of a let's play old games that we cannot play anymore kind of thing. But you can just go and buy a Wii U. I mean, I played Tomb Raider the other day, and that was through Steam. It ran on an emulator, ran on DOSBox.
No way.
Yeah, through Steam.
That's weird.
Yeah, and it seems like emulators seem to be for games you can't necessarily play anymore because your computer's like too good or things have moved on. But to have a Wii U emulator just seems weird. I mean, why? What's the point? You could just buy a Wii U.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Certainly at the moment, it seems very weird to have an emulator come out within a console's lifespan.
We've only just started getting like PS2 emulators, haven't we?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an Xbox 360 emulator out there, I think, which isn't great, but kind of works.
But the point is, it's new.
Project Dolphin. Yes, yeah. So it feels really weird to me to have an emulator this early on. But it's nice to know that it's going to be, I don't know, the games are going to be playable past the Wii U's lifespan. It's nice to know that's being done.
I mean, at least it's going to be working as soon as the lifespan of the Wii U is over. If it's, being built now, if it's still having the bugs worked out now, by the time the end of the Wii U's lifespan, you'll have a perfectly working emulator.
I think that's a bit far.
Well, no
emulator's
perfectly working, I know, but...
Yeah, it might basically work, but... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Personally, it feels ridiculous. It feels like they just want to get a cease and desist.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way they're going with it, and that's basically what's going to happen, certainly with Nintendo.
Yeah, I was about to say Nintendo. I'm surprised Nintendo didn't shut them down straight away. Because,
it wouldn't surprise me to see Nintendo do that.
Yeah. But how are people getting away with making Let's Plays of Mario Maker, by the way? I've seen a few Let's Plays of Mario Maker, and I know Nintendo have a tendency of taking down things like that.
Yeah, Nintendo have their own YouTube policy, which is unlike any other companies. You have to register your channel with Nintendo, and they will then allow you to play their games as long as they take a certain proportion of your monetization.
Nintendo partners.
Yep. That's
weird.
Yeah, it is very, very odd.
Then again, some developers are weird like that. Darksider developer, Vigil Games, they must have weird things because we got not a copyright hit, a copyright claim on one of our videos that made us have adverts on it for some in-game music under a bit I was speaking all over. You could barely hear it. But there are wikis for this thing saying who's okay with it, who's not. Nintendo are a big no-no.
Yeah, definitely. I'd recommend looking into this Nintendo partner program before you do anything with Nintendo.
Yeah,
certainly any of the new stuff anyway.
Unless you want your channel to die before it even starts.
Yeah, Nintendo are big enough to just take it down.
Yeah, but the name of this emulator's weird as hell. Seamew.
Yeah.
Who comes up with these things?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Seems a bit odd.
Yeah. But the emulators is only a proof of concept release, so I don't know, maybe they're just maybe it's just some people saying, look what we can do. We can make an emulator of a current gen console. Maybe it's just like a tech thing. Maybe they're looking to get employed or something. I don't know. And this is their way of getting publicity for it. Maybe.
It's not. I'd suggest it's not a great idea, but we'll see what happens.
People have weird ways of doing things. There's been hackers and everything that have been employed for their skills. You never know.
True.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's move on to the next thing.
Battlefront.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen on the internet.
Have you played it?
No, I have not.
No.
I don't particularly want to, though.
Why not?
The original Battlefront 2, spectacular. It's really good. I know the gameplay videos, they do look really, really good. But I'm really about actually trying it. Especially buying it because, it's EA, isn't it? They've basically taken a really popular game that was popular and everything and remade it. And we know they're kings of selling stuff. So you don't know whether this gameplay footage is actually going to be, representative of the actual game. We learned that with Aliens Colonial Marines. I know that wasn't EA, but plus the fact that on the title for Battlefront you have EA Battlefront. Kind of in the same way you have like 20th Century Fox in the name of the film. And I don't know any other developer, let alone publisher, that's ever done that with a game.
True. I can't actually think of one off the top of my head.
And it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. EA does have a bit of a reputation to upkeep in that way. But having played the game, I can tell you that it plays reasonably well.
You've actually played it?
Yeah. Played
Thanks
it on
for
the
telling me.
What? It plays reasonably well. The shooting controls are alright. Well, no, they're pretty tight.
What's the longevity of the gameplay, though? I mean, the thing that kept people coming back to the original was the fact it was so varied and it was fun and different, and so the shooting mechanics and everything might be great to start with, but is it any good over the long term?
I mean, as you can imagine, that's hard to say.
Exactly.
There were only a couple of modes open during the beta, and those that were open seemed relatively short, and there didn't seem to be many additional options in the menus. For example, single player, you only had a few options in there, and the single player that you got to play was only 5 or 6 waves out of, I think, 12. But if it's just basically going to be wave smashing, then that's not great. And the multiplayer, there were only 2 that you got to play. I think something like 8 that you get altogether.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then yeah, I can't see it keeping people coming for very long.
I think the question we have to ask ourselves about EA's Battlefront, because basically that's what it's called, EA Battlefront, is it another Titanfall? Had a massive launch, had loads of people playing it to start with, and then it kind of just fell off the radar. I mean, who plays Titanfall now? Yeah, I know some people do, but not nearly the percentage that first bought it. Is it just the initial, everybody pre-order, everybody buy now when it first comes out, so spend the most amount of money you can on it, and then it tails off in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I imagine it'll play out. That's how EA want it to play out.
Exactly.
They don't want you to play it for too long. If you play it for too long, then you won't buy any of their later games.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, this is their new Titanfall. What's the odds on in a year's time, 2 years' time, they'll have another new game with this same kind of hype around it?
Yeah, I imagine so, because they'll want to bring it out for the next movie.
And then where will
a year.
Battlefront be? They just don't seem to be geared towards having the games run over a decent length now. They're not geared toward the gamers, basically.
Speaking of a game that actually is geared toward the gamers, have you seen that Shovel Knight got an update? I think it was a couple of weeks ago now.
Ooh, no, I did not.
Yeah, it got an update for Plague Knight.
Yeah.
And it's basically the whole game, but with a new character with
cool.
different levels. It's a whole other game. And the character is completely different to Shovel Knight.
I'm surprised they haven't released Shield Knight playable.
It could be one of the later ones. I think there's still another 2
because that would
DLC to be coming out.
That would completely change the game as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean that's a game that's been out now for an absolute age, and they've supported it to the extent that they've doubled the amount of game there for free for people that have bought the game.
Yeah, see, that's the way you do it. The same thing happened with Terraria. When Terraria came out, it was really big and everything, and then they put a massive update on it, which was free and completely changed the game. Added so much stuff, changed so much stuff, and they're not obligated to do that, as EA have so clearly made it so clear. They're really not obligated to do this, but they do because they're geared towards gaming. They want us to enjoy ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely fantastic that that developers are starting to go that way, and that hopefully that will catch on to the larger developers, as long as people stop this absolutely awful practice of pre-ordering games.
Says you who pre-ordered Fallout 4 for me.
Oh yeah, I bought that for you. That was a kindness.
Thank you very, very much for that. I'm in no way complaining because everybody knows Fallout 4 is going to be amazing because it's Bethesda.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Bethesda is that they've proven themselves to be great.
Well, exactly.
When it comes to supporting games,
we trust Bethesda. We don't trust EA. Be more like Bethesda, EA, please, and I'll start buying your games again.
We'll leave that for another few weeks anyway until Fallout 4 comes out because,
I could be eating my words in a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It really is just bound to blow up in our faces.
Anyway, moving on to one of our favourite developers.
Yeah, are they even a developer anymore?
They're kind of just an entity, really, I guess. We're talking about Valve.
Yeah, good times. So Valve may not have released a game that's worth talking about in quite a while. However, they have revealed, not revealed, they've published, developed, whatever, sent out. People are getting them. Some hardware. So you've got the Steam Link and the Steam Controller.
See, I want both of them, definitely. Like, so much. I feel like the Steam Link is kind of like the ultimate expression of PC gaming in the living room. The fact it's not a box, it's not a console, it is your PC running this. And then it's just being streamed to... It's basically your own little version of OnLive. Yeah,
I mean, if I can kind of say this is the point at which I'll say fuck Nvidia. This is the Nvidia Shield, but for everyone.
This is better than the Shield, to be fair.
Exactly. Yeah, this is for absolutely everybody can stream without issue, without problem, over their own network.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And the Steam Controller just makes it all that much better. Because from what I've seen, the Steam Controller looks like it rocks. I mean, it's got the kind of touchpad thing going on, which apparently allows you to play RTSs and turn-based strategies and stuff like Civ, which is unheard of on a controller. I mean, if this actually pulls off, that's like changing the game.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. The question for me is how well will it play normal games?
We've got analog sticks.
You've got one analog stick.
Got one analog stick. Yeah, but I think the touchpad is supposed to compensate.
It's supposed to.
Supposed
I,
to.
I would like to see how well it works, and I would really appreciate using one. So I will have to buy one eventually, I'm sure.
We're definitely going to have to buy one. That I think it would kind of be silly not to, I guess. I think the price point is steep, but not any steeper than your general controllers.
Mm-hmm.
I just think all controllers are overpriced. You're looking at like 40 quid for PS4 controller, Xbox One controller, and now the Steam controller. I mean, even the Amazon Fire controller, I don't know why Amazon brought out their own controller. It's expensive.
Yeah. To be fair, the Steam controller is kind of at the lower end of those things. So I think a PS4 controller can set you back £50 if you buy it kind of retail at their recommended retail price, whereas the Steam controller's 40. So that's pretty reasonable, especially considering the kind of tech that you've actually got in this controller.
To be fair to it, yeah, it is. It's up there. They've thought about this. They've not just gone, oh yeah, let's just copy other controllers and slap our name on it. They've really gone and looked at what people do, how they play their games, what people need, and implemented it in the best way they could. If it isn't as good as we're hoping, I'm inclined not to blame Valve for that, because they've proven they've tried. If it fails, it just kind of proves that really it's not possible to do that stuff with a controller.
Yep.
I mean, I might just be sounding like a massive fanboy now, but
no, it's kind of reasonable what you're saying, and I should say that the Steam Link is also £40.
See that? I think that's a reasonable price. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, when you consider that, I think there is kind of a competitor which is reasonably similar, and that's more like £100. So that's a very good price point.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big negative with the Steam Link is that it only streams Steam games. It won't allow you to stream your desktop or anything like that.
That is a little bit silly because that's the proprietary stuff coming in again.
Yep.
Especially seeing as Steam have their own operating system now.
Mm-hmm.
They are obviously looking for people to use a computer with SteamOS streaming SteamOS.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, yeah, it'd be nice to stream your desktop and use it as kind of like streaming your entire computer. But they never said that's what it was for.
Mm-hmm.
It is just literally, it's basically like the splash screen for Xbox or PlayStation, but it's just Steam's version. It is basically turning it into a Steam console. I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to have with the Steam machines themselves, the actual standalone machines.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're making it any different. They're just converting your PC into a Steam machine in the living room.
But I do think that we're kind of creeping into the same territory that we were talking about with Apple earlier on. It means that you just aren't able to use any other store. You can't use Origin. You can't use, I don't know, whatever Ubisoft's thing is. You can't use good old games.
Yeah, but unlike Apple, whereas people do want to use like Android's Play Store and Amazon App Store and stuff, who really wants to use Origin and Uplay? If they had a choice, they would just 9 out of 10 people would probably just say, "Oh yeah, if it was on Steam, that would be it. That'd be fine."
I agree.
I mean, I do see your point.
Good old games, I think, is slightly different.
Oh yeah, good old games. Yeah, but are you sure you won't be able to stream through? Because you can add non-Steam games to Steam. Won't you be able to stream them through?
I'm not 100% sure. Having not used one, I wouldn't like to say.
We're going to have to look into that. So the jury's still out on that, I'm afraid.
And also, one of the big issues with the Steam Link is the fact that it won't work with Mac at the moment. For some reason, at the moment, the Mac platform is essentially just absolutely... I mean, the Mac platform anyway for gaming isn't great, but you cannot use Steam Link to play any of those games at the moment. I mean, Valve have been really cool about it. They're giving people the Valve Complete Pack, which gives you access to all of Valve's games, past, present, and future, free of charge.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So if they ever got round to releasing Half-Life 3, you'd just have it?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, how amazing is that?
My God. I'm thinking of getting a Mac just for that.
And they're saying that people that have purchased the Steam Link and found out that this is an issue, that Valve are giving you all of those games free of charge. You can still refund your Steam controller and Steam Link if you want to. The Valve games are yours.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, this is why Valve are such great guys.
That's amazing. Really.
I mean, they're acknowledging, we're having trouble with the Mac, and that's obviously because Mac has different coding and stuff, and is difficult to do that stuff with. But Valve are like saying, we're really sorry, we're trying. Have compensation.
Yeah, and to be fair, they're also saying, if you really want to play on your Mac, if you opt into the Steam beta, quite a lot of the stuff will actually work. It's just that you can't do it all on the stable version of Steam, if you like, yet. So again, that's all really cool.
That is
however,
cool. I knew however.
Anybody that has ever tried to get anything back from Steam, other than using their Steam refunds policy, which I'll admit is pretty cool.
But that's only very recent, though.
Yes, yeah, but even up till today, you'll notice if you try and contact Steam's customer support in any way, shape, or it's crap. You can be waiting a week to hear back from them, and even then, it'll probably just be a nothing answer. Yeah, and Steam have actually Valve have answered the fact that this is still crap, and they've kind of they haven't just admitted it. One of their quotes is, "I think it's technically gotten a little worse." At least overall, in terms of current ticket times, that peaked a few weeks ago. Which, again, is absolutely amazing. You've got a company here that's not just admitting that they're doing something wrong. They're saying, actually, what you're saying is actually wrong. It's worse than you're saying at the moment. That's surprising. I don't know any other company that's done that.
Even the bad things about Valve make me love them more. I mean, I've had bad customer service with people all over the map. I had some bad customer service with a company I'm not going to state on this podcast, because you never know, they might try and get us for slander or something. But
why would they get us for slander if it's fact?
Yeah, but they basically they were within their rights and everything. It was just they were a bit blunt on my customer feedback. They did get back to me pretty fast though. So anyway, they're basically saying all customer service is bad, even Valve's. Which
and then they're kind of stating that they're trying to get around these things. Yeah,
I mean, I guess you've got like millions of people using your service, and a customer service team of maybe, I don't know, overall a couple of thousand based in different locations. So they have a massive workload, and they deal with lots of angry people on a daily basis. So when you put yourself in their shoes, it's kind of difficult to stay annoyed at them.
Yeah, and interestingly, again, another kind of quote from this interview. They said that they tried to get some third-party providers, and they say that most of them wanted to sell you ways to reduce the number of people currently waiting in support, but they weren't very good at selling you ways to solve customer support issues. Which again is brilliant. They're saying point blank they don't want to just stop customers coming to them. They want to improve the service that customers are getting.
Yeah, because you're always going to have people with some problems, even if you anticipate for every single problem, there'll always be another problem.
Oh yeah.
So they want to try and solve the problems. They want to sort it out.
They don't want to give you crappy customer service.
So basically, they're giving good customer service about their bad customer service.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, I can't get over it. Valve, they're not, in a lot of ways, they're not doing very well at the moment, and they are still killing it.
Compared to every bugger else, then yeah. I don't know how they do it. I just don't know. Valve are an enigma. All hail Gabe.
And you said I was a Nintendo fanboy.
Yes, I am a Valve fanboy. Deal with it.
You did get your 10-year tag earlier on, didn't you?
I certainly did. I've been with Steam. When did Steam start? Wasn't long after 10 years ago, was it?
Can't have been massively so, because you'll have jumped straight on Half-Life as soon as you could, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, anyway, I've got my 10-year tag. Yay! Anyway, I think that's all we really have time for this week.
Yeah, I think we've got there, haven't we?
I have the late and great Leonard Nimoy doing the Live Long and Prosper sign to me on an advert on this site. And it's just lovely.
Fair enough. That's made me feel sad, actually.
Rest
It's a
in
really
peace,
sad
Leonard Nimoy.
note to end on.
I'm sorry.
He's a great man.
He was a great man, yes.
Anyway, so that's the end of this week's podcast, webcast, whatever.
We hope you enjoyed it and didn't get too annoyed with our constant bickering and fanboyishness and that's why we're on the internet after all, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood.
Never say that again, please.
I'll try not to, but I make no promises. So anyway, join us next week when we'll talk about more shenanigans.
Yep. Check out our videos and website when we actually get around to updating the damn thing.
That's rationalgamers.com, by the way.
Yes, I think... Yeah. Have a good week, everybody!
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.